Oh, Megan, this is going to be a long year with you. Yesterday, you vowed to, you know, work to be the bridge of unity, and encourage your Republican uh, colleagues, friends, the Republican Party to, you know, embrace the idea of unity, and work towards that. But you were concerned that the Democratic coalition was disingenuous about their intent for real unity. Um, but you were going to do your part, and you were cautiously optimistic about it. So now, today, the topic starts with Dr. Fauci, who yesterday was on TV very publicly saying that it is refreshing to be in an administration where he can speak truth about science and fact without having to be concerned about having some sort of political filter or the repercussions of what he might say from the administration that he was working for. And you aren't ready to give him any award, profile, and courage because back in March of last year, he was directed by the previous administration to, you know, to downplay the use of masks, and subsequently you gave your 5 masks away, which you then said you would have done anyway had you been told, you know, give them to frontline workers. But I don't know. But you're still mad about it. You're holding some sort of stupid grudge over something that he has apologized for and admitted was a mistake, that he was at the directive of the previous administration. But you are going to take your opportunity on television to continue to sow mistrust of that scientist because you're holding a grudge for something that he said a year ago under someone else's direction. So that's not helpful. Then you repeat this ridiculous, it's not even an accusation, but it's such a dumb story. After creating a mask mandate on federal property, Joe Biden was seen at the Lincoln Memorial without a mask on. He was A, outside, but B, addressing the nation on TV, after which he immediately put a mask on. But you are going to use that as a petty little way to say, this administration isn't doing what it says we should all do. 2 weeks ago, when the then president of the United States had a 45-minute phone call with the Secretary of State of the state of Georgia, trying to get the officials in Georgia to change or invent, what was it, 11,480 votes or 780 votes, whatever it was, nearly 12,000 votes, so it would make it appear as though he won the election in that state when he didn't, which, by the way, is illegal. You poo-pooed that as, oh, that's just the president, that's just Donald Trump being Donald Trump. You should ignore that. But a guy goes on TV a couple hours after making a mask mandate, not wearing a mask. And this is now an example of why, the Democrats are talking out of both sides of their mouths. Fuck you. And then poor Mayor Pete, you ask about the National Guardsmen that were housed in the parking garage temporarily, which was clearly an error, and you admitted that it was a bipartisan out, not outreach, bipartisan support for fixing that and reopening the Capitol, which they did. And you falsely say that because the Democrats are in charge of 3 branches of the government, all 3 branches of the government, which they're not. The Democrats have the House and the legislative, but the 3rd branch of the government is the judicial, and there's no control over that. So anyway, somehow trying to insinuate that this government that's been in power for a day is disrespectful of the troops, and because they didn't find an adequate housing situation. Agreed. And Pete was lovely to answer that it was it was a giant mistake, and they'll figure out how it happened. But in the question, in the asking of the question, you ask him, I want to know how you feel about blah, blah, blah. And then you say, don't you find it disgusting? Why are you even asking the question if you're trying to lead him to the answer? I get it. You're trying to trap him into saying, no, it's not disgusting. It was perfectly fine. People aren't that dumb. And you don't need to take up all those words. You should use less words. Anyway, I find now you may be disingenuous about your actual call for unity. And, you know, trying to help your fellow conservative Republicans along that path to unity. If you want to be helpful along that path to unity, you should maybe also talk to your husband and his publication. I noticed several of your talking points were featured articles on his page. So I don't know what you guys talk about at night and how you're going to decide which angles you're going to tackle. But you seem to have matching talking points, which is so cute for you two, but super bad for the country. If you really want to be authentic and sincere about finding common ground and, you know, getting some actual work done in this country. And the red makeup under your eyes just to make you look tired. I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking, but, you know, I blame Liberty.